Chapter 4 24 Nonverbal Cues that scream, I'm non-dominant. Get rid of them and score. What do you think is the one thing that makes a man most attractive to women? It's the impression that you're a dominant man. And no, you don't have to grunt, scratch, and slap a woman around like a caveman to convey dominance. Nor should you. You convey your dominant male status simply by acting the way dominant men do, by consciously controlling the nonverbal cues you send out, thereby creating the impression within a woman that you are alpha. This technique is called the association principle. Within the mind of a woman, you're associating yourself with desirable masculine traits while dissociating yourself from undesirable nice guy traits. This is how magicians operate. On stage, the magician carefully controls the audience's impression of him by diverting the audience's attention towards things that they associate with magic, like his waving magic wand. He prevents the audience from noticing the thing that would make him look non-magical, the fact that he's using his hand to do the trick. Similarly, you can use impression management to control what a woman thinks of you. And here's some really good news. By adopting the proper mindsets talked about in this guide, you will eventually grow to fully become an alpha male, and you can start moving in that direction today by adopting the behaviors of an alpha male. So what is dominance? It's social power, which comes from assertiveness. As you go through your process of self-improvement, eventually you will internalize the concepts of this book and become an alpha male. Right now, you're going to learn how to act like an alpha male, giving the impression of dominance by using your voice, your eyes, your behavior, and your posture. Your eyes are the number one nonverbal cue that tells people you're an alpha male. A dominant man is not afraid to gaze directly at people. By averting your gaze, you communicate submissiveness. When you look down, you communicate self-consciousness, shame, and a sense of low status. When you are the one talking, there is no limit to how much eye contact you can make with the other person. Studies have shown that the more eye contact the person doing the talking makes, the more dominant the listener perceives that person to be. However, when you're the one doing the listening, the opposite is true. The less you look at the other person while they're talking, the more dominant you become. Ever wonder why adults tell children, look at me when I'm talking to you? It's a way of reinforcing the adult's dominance over the child. Of course, you don't want to go overboard and have the woman think you're staring her down. If you're perceived as too dominant, then your likability starts to suffer. So give your eyes a break every now and then. In the next chapter, I will deal with boosting your likability. Another indicator of your dominance is your voice. Dominant people control the conversation. They also speak in a cutting voice and aren't afraid to interrupt the other person. Studies have shown that using a soft, quiet voice can give off the impression that you aren't assertive. When you speak, try to let your words flow and don't be afraid to speak your mind. People who hesitate and hedge are perceived as less powerful than those who do not. Watch your mannerisms and behaviors. Try to avoid the following nonverbal indicators of beta status. Number 1. Using ah and partial sentences, and partial words. Studies have shown that people consider others who talk like this to lack confidence and not be too bright. It's a sign of nervousness. The reason we say is because we're afraid we're going to be interrupted by the other person. Instead, don't be afraid to pause for effect. Pausing before important points will make you seem more competent, and people will remember what you say. Number 2, speaking too fast. This gives off the impression that you feel anxious and have low self-confidence. A normal, comfortable speaking rate varies within a moderate range from 125 to 150 words per minute. Slow down. And in case you're wondering, I'm speaking at about 130 to 140 words per minute right now. Number 3, Speaking with a monotone voice, also known as mumbling. People with a narrow pitch range are viewed as unassertive, uninteresting, and lacking in confidence. So vary your pitch, and you will be perceived as outgoing and alpha. Number 4, pausing too long before responding to a question. This indicates that you're thinking too hard for your answer, which makes you seem indecisive. It also looks like you're trying too hard to win the other person's approval. Number 5, pulled in, closed postures. An alpha male spreads his arms and legs out and is open. When standing, you can force open your body language by hooking your thumbs in your back pockets. Number 6, holding your hands in front of you. This is a defensive gesture. Instead, hold yourself open and vulnerable. You hold yourself vulnerable because you feel no fear. Let your arms relax and be open. Nobody's going to punch you, so why do you need to block yourself? Number 7, twitching your fingers or hands. When you're across the table from someone, there's a natural inclination to play with sugar packets or straw wrappers with your fingers. Don't. And don't drum your fingers on the table. Women hate that. Number 8, touching your face when you talk. This indicates that you're thinking too hard, you're indecisive, or that you feel shy. To convey confidence, hold your hands together in a steeple shape in front of your chest or face. A lot of professors do this when they are lecturing. Another posture that will help you when you need a huge display of confidence is holding your hands at your hips. Cops do this when they need to establish authority over criminal suspects. Number 9, folding or crossing your arms in front of you. On rare occasions, it is possible to fold your arms in an alpha fashion. For example, watch Brad Pitt in the movie Fight Club for a good demonstration of this. Basically, what you do is you make sure that both hands are visible rather than having one hand tucked under your arm. But as a general rule, avoid crossing your arms. Number 10, rigid or hunched posture. An alpha male has a relaxed posture, whether he's standing or sitting. Loosen up and spread out. Number 11, looking down. The alpha male holds his head high. It shows zest. Looking down at the floor telegraphs loser. Keep your chin up. Expose your neck. Don't worry, nobody's going to choke you. Look at the person you're talking to. Remember what I said about using your eyes. Number 12, nervous facial gestures such as lip licking, pursing your lips, twitching your nose, and biting your lips. An alpha male has a relaxed face and mouth because he fears no one. Number 13, excessive smiling. Studies of primates have shown that beta males will smile as a way to signal their harmlessness to stronger males. Beta humans smile similarly to show that they're not a threat. The alpha male, however, only smiles when there is something to smile about. And yes, he can be a threat. Number 14, walking fast is part of your normal walk. Instead, walk a little slower than normal, almost as if you're swaggering. You're alpha, no one's chasing you, and you're not rushing to please anyone else. If you're not in a hurry to get somewhere, walk like you're relaxed and confident. Think, I am the man. I can make any woman happy. Just thinking those thoughts will make you have a more relaxed, confident walk. Number 15, walking only with your legs. Don't be afraid to move your arms and torso. Try this. Walk as if you've just had a massive success and felt on top of the world. Watch then what you do with your body. You may find yourself moving your arms along with your shoulders and chest and having a slight bounce in your step. Now, as you notice the way you're walking at that point, do that kind of walk all the time. Number 16, slouching. You don't have to stand uncomfortably ramrod straight, but you should have your shoulders back. Watch Brad Pitt in any of his movies for examples of how to comfortably hold your back straight. I keep bringing up Brad Pitt because he provides an excellent example of what good body language looks like. Apparently, very early in his acting career, Brad Pitt engaged in a very thorough study of body language. Also watch George Clooney. For fans of older movies, check out Sean Connery in From Russia with Love and Rock Hudson in the movie Pillow Talk. Number 17, blinking a lot. Instead, blink your eyes slowly. Don't close your eyes in discomfort. Just let your eyelids relax. In fact, let them droop a bit. Don't be bug-eyed. Number 18, shifting your eyes back and forth when you speak. That's very beta. When you're in a conversation and you're doing the talking, gaze at the other person's face. Non-verbally, this communicates that what you say is important and worth listening to. Number 19, holding too much eye contact when the other person speaks. Ignore the dating advice books that tell you to hold non-stop eye contact. Non-stop eye contact makes you look needy, socially retarded, and frankly, like a weirdo. Instead, let your eyes blur and then gaze at her eyes. Look through her eyes rather than at her. From extensive testing, I've found that gazing at a woman about 2/3 of the time is optimal. By the way, only hold the gaze when she's telling you something genuinely interesting. Otherwise, focus on other stuff like her hair, things going on around you, etc. Number 20. Being uncomfortable with your eyes. The bottom line is that your eyes should be comfortable, relaxed, assertive, and sexual. Number 21. Looking down or to the side before answering a woman's question. If you do need to look away before answering in order to think, then look up and to the side. Studies have shown that this displays more confidence. Number 22. Being afraid to touch a woman and thus being non-touching. Be confident about it when you touch women. Any nervousness at all can be fatal for your relations with her. Be alpha and physically move her when you need to. Hold her hand to lead her around, and so on. Be gentle. If you use excessive pressure, you reveal your insecurity. Since you're alpha, of course she will follow you, so there's no need to be anything other than playful and tender. It's natural to touch others as when you're emphasizing a point, so let the love flow. Number 23. Turning your head fast when someone wants your attention. Instead, use the movements that you would when you're at home, slow and relaxed. You're not at anyone's beck and call. You're alpha, remember? Number 24. Using long, convoluted sentences. Alphas keep it short and to the point. If you're tempted to use long sentences, break them up. Don't feel bad if you inevitably slip up and use some of these nonverbal cues from time to time. No one's perfect, so don't ever beat yourself up about it, especially when you're talking with a woman. Let it go and keep the conversation moving. When you think about such things too much while talking, you start to doubt yourself, and when that happens, you feel insecure and anxious and become hesitant. Instead, just work on remaining nonchalant yet sincere at all times. It's enough to simply be aware of how you communicate nonverbally with everything you do, because being aware means that you will start to avoid negative communications much more.